Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, the trailer for Cold War Season 1 confirmed some big rumors. Nintendo canceled an official tournament while it was happening, early reviews of Cyberpunk are in, and much more. The Cold War Season 1 launch trailer gave us plenty to look at. Unfortunately, it might be disappointing for some players. It seems like the Warzone update will be limited to Rebirth Island, which is essentially a reskin of Alcatraz from Blackout Battle Royale mode. That said, it seems like there's a more substantial update in the works. The trailer focuses exclusively on a plot concerning Nova 6, the nerve gas central to Black Ops story, and the gas cloud in Warzone. So I think it's fairly safe to say that an overhaul of Verdansk that ties into Easter eggs on Rebirth Islands is in the works. It also looks like one of the new multiplayer maps for Cold War will be set in a mall in New Jersey. A full gameplay trailer will launch during the Game Awards on Thursday. As for Warzone right now, to say it's a bit broken would be incredibly generous. A new glitch is allowing players to spawn infinite juggernaut suits. The Jug suit was added a few months ago and is currently a guaranteed drop if you perform a specific Easter egg in standard Warzone playlists. In some limited time modes, multiple Jug suits will drop as care packages, but there's only supposed to be one available otherwise. This exploit pretty much breaks the game, as having an entire squad with juggernaut suits is basically a guaranteed win, as you get extra health and miniguns with infinite ammo. The Easter egg is also fairly easy to complete, so it's pretty much every match someone will at least attempt it. Unfortunately, Infinity Ward hasn't addressed the issue yet, so there's no ETA on a fix. Until they do, you'll likely see a lot of juggernauts winning matches. The only little bit of silver lining here is that players can actually generate more than 4 suits, so if a squad exploiting the glitch makes a few extra, you can pick them up for yourself. It's certainly a small consolation for potentially having every match you play ruined by an exploit. The big question, of course, is how will developers prevent issues like this from happening in the future? Warzone is getting a massive overhaul next week that extends support for at least another year and adds Cold War content. If exploits like infinite juggernauts and stims keep popping up from time to time, how will that impact the community, especially competitive players that take the Battle Royale seriously? Speaking of competitive players, Nintendo canceled an official Splatoon tournament over players protesting the recent cease and desist they served the Big House Smash Melee tournament. The event was supposed to wrap up this past weekend. Nintendo stopped broadcasting the matches and eventually pulled the plug after 4 of the tournament's top teams changed their names to Smash-specific ones in solidarity with the Big House and dropped out of the event. Nintendo had issued a cease and desist to the independent tournament over its use of the Slippy mod. This is a community-made networking patch that makes Smash Bros. Melee playable over the internet. The pandemic forced the Big House tournament to go online, and most players would agree it wouldn't have been possible without Slippy. Nintendo is viewed by many in the esports scene as a company that does nothing but get in their own way. Whether it's not officially endorsing independent tournaments, issuing cease and desist, or making absurd demands to organizers, or not letting players use fight sticks, Nintendo has a history of working against practices other companies have seen incredible success with. And while it seems unlikely that Nintendo will change their ways anytime soon, the community will probably be just fine on their own. The teams that left the Splatoon 2 tournament put together an impromptu tournament of their own and managed to raise a $25,000 prize pool and $3,000 for charity in less than 24 hours. Early reviews of Cyberpunk 2077 are in. Despite praise for the game's technical achievements and compelling storylines, many reviewers are hammering the experience thanks to bugs. The game's developers have been crunching for months to finish the game and iron out these bugs, but it sounds like their sacrifice may have gone in vain. Most reviewers report crashes, glitches, and other anomalies that frequently took them out of the experience. When it comes to massive open-world RPGs, it's expected that these games will launch with tons of bugs. I mean, that's practically Bethesda's business model at this point. It's just unfortunate that Cyberpunk is the next victim of a buggy launch. What makes matters more concerning is that reviewers were given access to a Day Zero patch, which is essentially the game's launch update. So at launch, real-world players can expect the same sorts of bugs and problems some reviewers are complaining about. That said, developers are working on a major patch that should deploy soon after launch. As with most games, they're probably already 2 or 3 post-launch patches deep. The question is, of course, how long will those patches take to deploy? The Witcher 3 took at least a month to have its major bugs ironed out, and even longer for more of the subtle ones. Hopefully things happen more quickly for Cyberpunk. The biggest update in War Thunder, a land, sea, and air combat game, has arrived. The new power expansion improves on pretty much every aspect of the game. The game's engine received a major update that improves visuals, particularly the sky. The Harrier jet has been added to the game as its first vertical takeoff aircraft. New tanks have been added from multiple eras covering World War II to modern times. Naval combat has also been improved thanks to the addition of battleships. The update includes a next-gen upgrade also that adds 4K 60fps support for consoles and ray tracing. PC gets the same improvements plus DLSS 3.0, which further boosts performance. Lord of the Rings Online might not be a household name exactly, but it's proven to be a wildly popular MMORPG over the years. It originally launched in 2007 and has gotten several major expansions since then. To help boost its popularity, the developers are launching a visual overhaul that will ride the coattails of Amazon's upcoming Lord of the Rings TV series. The overhaul update launches sometime in 2022, which likely puts it in between seasons 1 and 2. Unfortunately for them, the update will not exist in a vacuum. Amazon are currently working on their own free-to-play Lord of the Rings MMO. Survival game Rust was supposed to launch on consoles this month, but the developers just announced a delay to 2021. The primary roadblock was to tackle the dev team having to work from home. The exact length of the delay wasn't given, but we'll be getting more info at the start of the new year. In our final story today, it seems like manufacturing delays aren't the only thing making Nvidia's new GPUs so scarce. In China, an MSI factory just reported a robbery of RTX 3090s for a total loss of $300,000. Thieves stole 40 containers of the GPU from the factory, and while that only amounts to about 200 actual units stolen, most retailers are only getting a handful of GPUs with every stock update. 200 RTX 3090s might have been all MSI had ready to ship for their next stock update. If other manufacturers are in a similar situation, 200 GPUs are like 1/8 the total volume of available product. Across the board, Nvidia and their partners have been pretty quiet about restocking hardware. They've been unable to meet demand even months after launch, and it doesn't look like the situation is improving over time. Assuming shortages will remain a problem into 2021, customers might be waiting until the spring or even later to have a realistic chance at ordering a new GPU. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. Let me know what story you thought was the most interesting in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this down the road, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.